Time to share one of my learning experiences in gardening. Yeah, I did it wrong for 3 or 4 years, and I want to help you get a good start at it so you don't waste time like I did. And I should have said organic gardening. This is important for organic gardening. You know, we don't want to put a bunch of chemicals into the ground, and we want to keep it cheap. This is the right way to do it. This is the wrong way to do it. So this has happened to a couple people. So when you think of back to Eden gardening, they tell you to put wood chips down. See how that's still bright white, and you know, it's not rotted. It isn't decomposing. This will actually pull nitrogen out of your ground. This was an asparagus bed. I'm gonna tear it out and put strawberries in here. This is finished compost. This is the right way. See how dark it is and rich? So you need to know how to compost. This is a compost pile. This is just sawdust that I brought from a sawmill that's semi-local, and piled it under here. And this is just where I store the big part of it until I break it out into these bins and mix it with, you know, the living stuff, the greens they call it, you know, grass. Here's that asparagus I just tore up. So the sawdust is the brown. You can use leaves, preferably shredded leaves. You can use cardboard. You can use dried out grass, straw, hay. But for your greens, I use all our grass trimmings. We have a lawnmower with a bag, and we just run around, collect the grass, and put it in a tumbler, or in this pile, or in one of these little things. But if you do this right, let me get the shovel real quick. What it does is it makes heat. Let's see if I can get down deep enough here to show you some steam. See that? That is hot. That is the microbes working. And that will also kill off, hopefully, weed seeds. That's another problem I had, is over there in that is now a worm bin. But what I used to do was put all my kitchen scraps in the trash cans and just let them rot down. But that doesn't kill any seeds. So when you go to put that on your garden, and you see the volunteer tomato, I had a volunteer squash coming out this way. That's what happens to your garden. Or this is what happens to your garden. You take all that stuff out of the trash cans with the horse nettle seeds in. You throw all that nice rich stuff with seeds in it, and then you sprout horse nettle all through your garden beds, and then you have to weed it. And so this is our compost tumbler. So the ratios for making compost are 2 parts green to 1 part brown. So your sawdust, your leaves are the brown. 1 part leaves, 1 part sawdust, 1 part shredded paper, whatever you can find. Old horse bedding. Then for the greens, like I said, table scraps, grass clippings. Here we have eggs. I mean, I put all sorts of stuff in here. It's okay to put stuff in here. It'll break down. Right, Hannah? Did you hear what he just said? Right now, I have, sadly, some quail chicks that didn't make it in here, breaking down too. Meat is okay. It will break down. It's actually high in nitrogen. And that way we're not wasting anything. You can do it in a pile like this and add a little bit to it along, and that works. This is probably the fastest way to do it. But then we also have these bins. And so far we found that sawdust is definitely the easiest starter. See how rich that is? And I've just been throwing, or we have, me and my wife, been throwing table scraps and vegetables and grass clippings in with sawdust. and turning it, and this is what it turns into. It's just really rich, organic, you know, nutrient dense for plants compost. How do you know when it's ready? Well, it gets really dark like this, and then smells earthy, and the other thing is whatever it was that you threw in, you can't really identify anymore. Like, you can still tell there's some grass in here, but it's breaking down. Other things to note, if you're going to use sawdust, probably should stay away from walnut, because walnut has tannins in it and they will break down, I think. But walnut will kill other plants. Yeah, it makes the dirt unsuitable for anything but walnut. Also for greens, you can use manures. I've got quail right over here, and I took all their bedding that my wife cleaned out of the pen and put it in this big pile over here too, and that will work as a green, and that's part of why that pile over there is so hot. I'm recording snippets as I remember. The process in a tumbler or one of these little bins here that I'm sitting on currently will take about a month if you add all your greens in the same time you add your at the same time you add your browns. We add it a little bit at a time as we have it, you know, with kitchen scraps. It's not exactly all at once, but if you keep adding it to it, you'll see when it's close to ready, and you can just stop adding and start another pile. Now, we've been at this now for 2 or 3 months. I've already got like 50 gallons. That's what's on the strawberry bed. I got the tumbler here is full. I'm just waiting for it to finish because it's still making a little heat, and we'll be able to put that on the other strawberry bed that I'm starting now. Urine is your friend. Sounds gross, I know. Collect your pee, pour it on your pile. It'll help it break down faster. It'll help it warm up if it's a big pile. You can also use it for a green, but probably try to stay away from it because you put more salt into it, and you know, if it's too salty, then you've made a problem there. And the last thing, Humanure. Oh yeah, I've noticed that a lot more people from out of the States are watching my videos, and I appreciate you guys. And there's something that we don't do here in the States, at least not most of us, but something that you can do if you're having a hard time growing food. It's called Humanure. Now what you do is you take your sawdust, you get a 5-gallon bucket, you go to the bathroom in it, and poop, pee, whatever, put your sawdust on top of it, keeps the smell down. Then you put that stuff in your compost pile and use it for your greens. And they say it works great. People in Africa do this. People here in the States, some of them do that. I personally don't do it yet, but I might if things get really bad here, and they might soon. But yeah, there's just one thing, is you need to use it not the year it's ready. You need to wait a year and use it the second year, and that way the E. coli and anything like that dies off. And I've heard people have great success with it. There are tutorials on any kind of composting you've seen here on YouTube, dude. Tutorials here on YouTube. And yeah, just hope you have a better start at organic gardening than I did. I mean, we've grown stuff, but this is going to help us out a lot. We should have abundance of food now, and I hope that you have success too. See ya.